Habits, for instance, are a perfect example of this interplay. Many of our daily routines, brushing our teeth, commuting to work, checking our phones, are performed with minimal conscious effort. They are ingrained patterns formed by repetition, stored deep in the neural circuits of the brain. The conscious mind may believe it is in control, but in reality, the unconscious mind is orchestrating much of our behavior, freeing up cognitive resources for more complex tasks. This division of labor between the conscious and unconscious allows humans to function efficiently in a world that is overwhelmingly complex, but it also means that much of what we do is influenced by forces we cannot directly observe. Understanding this helps us appreciate why behavior can be simultaneously predictable and surprising, logical and paradoxical, mundane and profound. As we explore the nuances of human behavior, it becomes clear that every gesture, every thought, and every decision is layered with meaning. Some of these layers are obvious, some are hidden, and some are so subtle that we may never fully comprehend them. Yet, by studying these patterns, psychologists have identified recurring principles and fascinating quirks that illuminate the mind's inner workings. Let us now embark on a journey through 25 remarkable insights about human behavior, each offering a glimpse into the extraordinary complexity of the human psyche. The first fact is that our brains often make decisions before we are consciously aware of them. Studies using functional magnetic resonance imaging have demonstrated that neural activity in the brain's decision-making centers can predict a person's choice several milliseconds before they consciously acknowledge it. This indicates that our unconscious mind is continuously evaluating options, weighing risks, and preparing actions. The conscious experience of choice may therefore be more of a reflection of decisions already made, rather than a purely deliberate act. Closely related to this is the phenomenon of emotional contagion. Humans are remarkably attuned to the emotions of those around them. A smile, a frown, or a subtle shift in posture can evoke corresponding emotions in observers, often without their awareness. This automatic mirroring serves a social purpose, fostering empathy, connection, and coordination within groups. It also highlights the unconscious processes that shape our reactions and interactions. Memory is another area where unconscious processes dominate. People tend to remember emotionally charged events far more vividly than neutral ones. This is not simply a quirk of attention but a survival mechanism. Emotional events, whether positive or negative, carry important information that the brain prioritizes for retention. However, memory is also reconstructive, meaning that our recollection of events is influenced by current beliefs, biases, and emotional states. This explains why eyewitness testimony can be unreliable and why our memories often evolve over time, subtly reshaped by the unconscious mind. Cognitive biases are yet another layer of unconscious influence. From confirmation bias, the tendency to favor information that supports pre-existing beliefs, to hindsight bias, which distorts our recollection of past predictions, these biases affect our perception, judgment, and decision-making. Many biases operate below the level of conscious awareness, subtly shaping our thoughts and behaviors. Recognizing them is the first step toward mitigating their influence, but complete objectivity may never be fully attainable. The significance of body language cannot be overstated. It is estimated that up to 70% of human communication is nonverbal. Microexpressions, gestures, posture, and even the speed of speech convey information that often bypasses conscious awareness. Skilled observers can interpret these cues, gaining insights into emotions and intentions that words alone may obscure. At the same time, individuals unconsciously emit signals that influence how others perceive and respond to them, creating a continuous, dynamic interplay between conscious and unconscious communication. Humans are inherently social creatures, and our behavior is deeply influenced by interactions with others. Social isolation can have profound effects on both mental and physical health, demonstrating the importance of community, connection, and shared experience. Even subtle social cues, such as being observed by others, can shape behavior. People are more likely to act altruistically or conform to norms when they know they are being watched, revealing the unconscious mechanisms that regulate social conduct. Stress provides another window into unconscious influences on behavior. Not only does stress affect individual performance, decision-making, and health, but it can also be contagious. Just as laughter can spread through a group, tension and anxiety can ripple silently among individuals, influencing actions, judgments, and emotional states without conscious recognition. This underscores the subtle yet profound ways in which human behavior is shaped by environmental and social contexts. The environment itself exerts a powerful, often unconscious influence on behavior. People tend to underestimate how much surroundings, cues, and context shape their decisions, attributing outcomes instead to personal choice or free will. From the layout of a room to background music, environmental factors can guide attention, elicit emotions, and subtly steer decision-making processes. Awareness of these influences is limited, yet they exert a persistent force in shaping everyday actions. The simple act of smiling illustrates the feedback loops between behavior and emotion. People who smile more frequently are often perceived as happier, and over time, the act of smiling can even enhance mood, creating a self-reinforcing cycle. This demonstrates how unconscious behaviors can influence conscious experiences, highlighting the interplay between physiology, cognition, and emotion. Decision fatigue provides another compelling example of unconscious influence. The human brain has limited cognitive resources for deliberation and self-control. As decisions accumulate throughout the day, mental energy depletes, leading to poorer judgment, impulsivity, or avoidance. Much of this process occurs outside conscious awareness, yet it profoundly impacts behavior and choices. Humans are drawn to patterns, sometimes seeing them where none exist, a phenomenon known as apophenia. This tendency is rooted in evolution, as detecting meaningful patterns in the environment historically conferred survival advantages. Yet it can also lead to false beliefs, superstitions, and errors in reasoning. The unconscious mind's drive to seek coherence and meaning illustrates both the strengths and limitations of human cognition. Habits, as previously noted, are a manifestation of unconscious processing. Repetition ingrains neural pathways, making certain behaviors automatic. Habits are more powerful than intentions because the brain favors efficiency. Once a behavior is habitual, it requires minimal conscious effort. Changing behavior, therefore, often requires deliberate interventions that target both conscious planning and unconscious patterns. First impressions are formed within milliseconds, yet they influence attitudes and judgments for years. These rapid evaluations rely on unconscious processing of visual, auditory, and contextual information, highlighting the brain's ability to make complex social judgments instantaneously. While first impressions can be fallible, they reveal the depth and speed of unconscious evaluation in human behavior. Humans are prone to comparison. Happiness, satisfaction, and self-esteem are often evaluated relative to others rather than in absolute terms. This tendency is largely unconscious, yet it drives motivation, competition, and social dynamics. It also explains why social media and societal expectations can exert such powerful effects on well-being. Multitasking is another area where unconscious processes dominate. While many believe they can handle multiple tasks simultaneously, research shows that switching between tasks reduces efficiency and increases errors. The brain relies on unconscious mechanisms to juggle attention and priorities, yet conscious awareness of limitations is often lacking. Humans have a natural need for novelty. Novel experiences stimulate reward pathways in the brain, promoting learning, exploration, and creativity. However, too much unpredictability can trigger anxiety and stress. The balance between seeking novelty and maintaining stability is a subtle, often unconscious tension in behavior, influencing choices, risk-taking, and emotional regulation. Emotions such as guilt and shame function as social regulators. They guide behavior, promote adherence to norms, and foster group cohesion. Though we may consciously rationalize actions, these emotional signals operate beneath the surface, shaping responses in ways that individuals may not fully recognize. The placebo effect illustrates the profound influence of belief and expectation on behavior and physiology. Individuals can experience genuine physiological changes even when they know they are receiving a placebo, highlighting the mind's power to influence the body. This interplay of cognition, expectation, and unconscious processes underscores the depth of mind-body connections. Fear responses are deeply embedded and often stronger than rational thought. The brain's threat detection systems operate unconsciously, preparing the body for fight-or-flight reactions before conscious assessment occurs. This protective mechanism illustrates how unconscious processes prioritize survival, sometimes at the expense of reasoned deliberation. Humans have an innate tendency to justify their actions, even harmful or irrational ones. Cognitive dissonance, the discomfort arising from conflicting beliefs and actions, drives individuals to reconcile discrepancies through unconscious rationalizations. This explains why people persist in behavior that seems illogical, self-defeating, or morally questionable. Laughter is universal, transcending language and culture. It functions as a social bonding mechanism, signaling play, safety, or shared understanding. While we may consciously decide to laugh, the triggers often emerge from subtle social cues and emotional contagion operating beneath conscious awareness. Unconscious biases permeate every aspect of life, influencing hiring decisions, judgments, and interpersonal relationships. Even well-intentioned individuals are subject to biases based on race, gender, age, and other social categories. Awareness can mitigate some effects, but unconscious processes remain pervasive, shaping behavior in profound ways. Finally, human behavior reflects a dynamic interplay between nature and nurture, biology and environment, conscious choice and unconscious influence. Every action, thought, and emotion is shaped by multiple interacting forces, many of which lie outside awareness. Understanding this complexity is not merely an academic exercise, it offers practical insight into how we think, feel, and act, and how we might cultivate awareness, empathy, and intentionality in our lives. In conclusion, the human mind is a labyrinth of conscious and unconscious processes, each influencing behavior in intricate and sometimes surprising ways. From habits to emotions, biases to social dynamics, every aspect of behavior is informed by layers of unseen mechanisms, shaped by evolution, experience, and the subtle interplay of mind and body. Recognizing this complexity invites humility, curiosity, and compassion, not only toward ourselves but toward others, whose actions are similarly governed by forces often hidden from view. Human behavior is not simple, and it is not always rational. Yet it is endlessly fascinating. By exploring these 25 insights, we gain a richer understanding of what it means to be human, beings shaped as much by what we do not know about ourselves as by what we do. The unconscious mind may operate behind the scenes, but awareness, reflection, and intentionality allow us to navigate this complexity with insight, grace, and wisdom.